Today on DNVR Buffs Live, Heisman votes are due today, Jake. So we make our closing arguments in the case of Hunter versus Genty. Let's dive in. Let's go.
Welcome into Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's DNVR Buffs Live. A lot to get into today. Championship weekend. We have our first ever CFP bracket.
Yep.
The portal is hopping.
Yep.
But we start today with the debate that has captivated the nation. The Heisman Trophy.
Yes, and I think that debate drives content, and so it's natural for all of these debates to boil up and boil over because the media loves a good debate, and fans then latch on and love a good debate, and social media loves a good debate. And so I want to start by saying that I think that this debate is a bit manufactured, and we might be being led to believe that this is closer than it is. That has been true of several Nikola Jokic MVP seasons.
Right.
It's like everyone goes back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and then the votes come out, and it was like 90% of voters voted for Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
I personally feel like we might be in a situation like that. But just in case there are any Heisman voters who have yet to put in their vote, the deadline is today, we figured we would make one final case for Travis Hunter to win the Heisman Trophy. And I first just want to start with the eye test.
Yes.
And I really don't have to bring up the other player in this debate to just tell you, like, when you watch Travis Hunter on the field, it is so obvious that he is different.
Yeah.
Not just different from everyone on his team, not just different from everyone on the field, not just different from everyone in the nation. In my opinion, different from anyone we have ever seen play the sport of football.
I agree.
And people will bring up different players who have played both ways, and all of those guys are great. You know, like, you're not going to get me to argue against Champ Bailey, one of, like, my three favorite NFL players of all time.
Yeah, you're not going to get me to say anything bad about Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey.
But I will say it did not look the same way that it looks when Travis Hunter is on the football field.
Right.
And as I watched the other game on Friday night, Ashton Genty is a great player. A fantastic running back. I didn't get that same feeling.
Yeah.
And I left that game thinking to myself, I think that this is probably going to be the most watched Boise game of the season. And I think they average like 271,000 viewers per game. I'm sure that will be significantly higher. I left that game thinking if the voters watch that and they've also watched, Travis Hunter against Oklahoma State or any of the other games, recently, they will come away saying, Genty's amazing. Travis is the best player in the country.
Yep. I think you just go to the K-State game. That should be the whole case right there. The first half when he's healthy and how he just changes, how Colorado schemes an offense, how K-State schemed against them, how Colorado attacks on defense, and how K-State tries to go against that when Travis is on the field. as opposed to the second half when Travis isn't out there, and it's a different team.
Yes.
I mean, the entire team changes. The way that the team calls offense, the way they run routes, like the way that teams cover them, he literally shuts down a whole side of the field. They just don't throw that way when he's on the field. And then when you put Colton Hood, who we all love, he's a great player and is going to be even better moving forward. It's different than when Travis Hunter is out there shutting down. I don't care who your top receiver is.
Yep. Well, and everyone wants to dunk on CU for losing tiebreakers at the top of the Big 12. It's like if Travis is out there, the end of that game, even if he just was out there for the last drive that Kansas State had, it's completely different.
Yes.
Because he's probably the one lined up on that side of the field, or at the very least, he's on the other side, and DJ's on Preston's side, where Preston had to move outside, where he didn't play a lot this season. So I think that's a great case. It's funny because so many people that don't watch the games have tried to use Kansas State against Travis.
Of course.
They're like, oh, look at his stats when he played a ranked team. And it's like, well, you just told everyone that you don't watch the games. But I want to make this as much about Travis as possible. I thought about this today, and I don't know if anyone has necessarily said it in this context. In the modern era of football, we have never, and I repeat, never, seen a player who impacts a higher percentage of the game at an elite level than Travis Hunter.
Yep.
I want to repeat that. In the modern era of football, we have never seen a player who impacts the game at an elite level for a higher percentage of the game than Travis Hunter. No matter how amazing you are at one side, and there's tons of great players this year in the country, Travis is doubling the impact. Doubling.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that somehow got tied up into this snaps aren't a stat thing. But what in a presidential campaign, you look back and say, what a campaign move.
Right.
What a campaign move by the Genti organization to try and pretend like that doesn't matter.
Or that he's just out there just because he's got great cardio.
Yeah, like he's just racking up. No. This player is bringing elite play to every single play of the football game. No one has ever done that before.
Yeah.
Not at least since they stopped wearing leather helmets. Yeah. And I cannot believe that is somehow being watered down and being thrown aside. A player impacting every play of the game is not just generational. Generational isn't a high enough word. It's once in a lifetime. Because in all of our lifetimes, anyone who's sitting here watching this show right now, we've never seen it.
No.
We have never seen a player play almost 100% of the snaps in a game and be elite at both positions the entire time.
Yep. And just to go into that, I mean, you already mentioned it. People compare him a lot to Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey. In Charles Woodson's Heisman season, he had 11 receptions for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also returned kicks.
Wait, how many receptions?
11.
Travis has that in a game.
Yes. That's pretty much what he averages in a game.
Okay.
He had 33 punt returns for 283 yards and 1 touchdown. But he did have 7 interceptions.
Yep.
And they don't have passes defense here track. Champ Bailey, a year after Charles Woodson won the Heisman, he had 3 interceptions. He had 12 kick returns, 4 punt returns, no touchdowns. On offense, 47 receptions, 744 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Travis Hunter, though, had 92 receptions this last year. 92.
Yep.
That ranks him second in the P4 and 5th in the entire FBS in receptions per game. He also had, on those 92 receptions, 1,152 yards and 14 touchdowns. That's just half of it.
Yes.
On defense, he had 32 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 11 passes defense, and not to mention 1 forced fumble that literally won them a football game.
Yep.
Against a good Baylor team that people did not respect at that point in the season when Colorado and Baylor played.
Yeah, and Baylor's playing LSU in a bowl game.
Yes.
Just to kind of put a cap on that, Charles Woodson and Champ Bailey are incredible players. I believe both first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yes.
Neither of them were their team's wide receiver one.
Mm-mm.
And that, to me, is where this debate should be ended. Never before have we seen a player be wide receiver one and corner one the entire game. The entire season, he was Colorado's wide receiver one and cornerback one. And you can go back and forth whether it's Shedeur, but best defensive player and best offensive player, very arguably.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that about those other guys who were awesome players who came in and made big plays. Champ Bailey especially, totaling 741 yards or whatever it was. Travis put up 400 more yards than that.
Yes.
He doubled the catches.
And had more defensive production than them.
Yes. And so don't let anyone try to convince you that this has been done before, this has been seen before, or especially do not let anyone try to convince you that he's just out there racking up snaps. He is the best player on the field, and he's on the field the entire game. No one's ever done that before.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? Texas Tech, when they got a free play and Morton just decided, all right, I'm just going to throw it at Travis just to test it out. Travis just goes up in the air with his 10 out of 10 rare ball skills that we've talked about since Coach Prime became the coach here, how he attacks the football different than anyone we've ever seen, really. And, of course, the interception doesn't count or whatever, but that was like right there. That was case in point why you do not throw at Travis Hunter, because he will play the ball like a wide receiver and he will go get that thing. But he also shows it on offense, too. The Utah catch. I mean, just elevates like a whole 2-3 feet over all the other defenders. Just from an ability standpoint, no one has the ability that Travis Hunter has. And that's not even factoring the stats, the production, all that stuff.
Absolutely. A couple more just kind of notes and stats to just completely throw aside any of the arguments against him. Anyone that tries to tell you that he doesn't rack up tackles, well, he was targeted just 39 times, which is third fewest in all of Power 4 for any starting corner. And on those 39 targets, he allowed only 6 first downs, which is the best by any starting corner. Of the 39 targets, he had an interception every 10.3 targets.
Unicorn.
Every 10 times you throw the ball his way, it's going the other way. And that's just completely unheard of. Mm-hmm. In terms of danger on the field as a corner, that's another thing that I would say that I can't remember seeing a player like that, where it's throwing at him is such a risk. It's
literally like prime NFL Darrelle Revis and Champ Bailey that I've ever heard that before.
How many times did you see a play where he didn't intercept it, but he got his hands on it? Like, not just a PBU, but like he damn near intercepted it.
Oh, I mean, countless times.
89.4 receiving grade from PFF, top amongst all players with 450 plus receiving snaps. 88.2 offensive grade, which is third of all wide receivers in Power 4 with 500 snaps. 87.7 coverage grade, which is 6th in Power 4 of 300 coverage snaps. 85.5 defense grade, which is 7th with a minimum of 500 snaps. And even a 82.0 run defense grade, which is 3rd among all corners in Power 4. He does everything.
Literally everything. And just because we're doing this, last thing I'll say. The conference you play in has to matter. It's mattered in every other Heisman debate. People discredited Christian McCaffrey for playing in the Pac-12. They discredited Michael Penix for playing in the Pac-12 last year. So why doesn't Ashton Genty get it for playing in the Mountain West?
Don't know. Well, he might. We'll see.
It has to matter.
It has mattered, like you said, in every other Heisman debate. And anyone who tries to tell you that the level of play is the same just truly doesn't understand college football and how it works. Compare however you want to compare it, but probably the easiest and most quantifiable way you can compare it is just looking at the recruiting classes of the Big 12 versus the recruiting classes of the Mountain West. Of course, we all know that there are players, Ashton Jeanty being one, who can outplay the level of what their recruiting class is. But over the course of a sample of 5, 10, 15 years, the higher rated recruits are going to be the better players.
Yes.
They're, like I said, they're, of course, outliers. The difference between the quality of players that Travis Hunter is going against every single week and the quality of players that Ashton Jeanty is going against every single week really isn't comparable, in my opinion. And that's not a knock on him. Because they say, oh, you can only play who's in front of you. But we can also only evaluate who you played.
Exactly. I mean, we saw Travis Hunter against the third place team in the Mountain West, and he had one of his best games of the season. He completely dominated Colorado State.
Yes. 2 touchdowns and an interception.
Yeah. Should be just end the argument right there, honestly.
Probably. And I mean, you could go through all sorts of stuff. I think there's a lot of like flimsy arguments that get made. Oh, this team played this team and this team did that and this like. So, like, you know, you could talk about Arizona State and what they did to Wyoming versus what Boise State did to Wyoming, and just talking about quality of athlete, quality of players. But I don't even think you have to go there.
No.
You really just have to watch.
That's the crazy thing. Like, we go through October, November, and I feel like every Saturday it's just so clear, like, Travis is the most dominant player in college football, and everyone's all saying that. Like the 1 week he doesn't play because it's conference title, whatever. It's like, oh, wait, this is the actual Heisman here now.
But I don't know. I feel very confident that those narratives are not being brought forward by the people who are actually voting. There are a couple, but most of it is just like an accountant from, some like weird town in Idaho.
Yeah.
What's the town I was thinking of? Coeur d'Alene.
Never heard of it. Updated odds. Travis Hunter after the weekend, minus 2,500. Ashton Jeanty, plus 1,000.
Pocatello. Just naming off towns I know in Idaho now.
Never been. So according to the books, it's not really that close.
What is the current odds?
Minus 2,500 for Travis, plus 1,000 for Ashton Jeanty.
Just to put that into perspective for it, because everyone's not a bettor. That means that and by the way, I got in on this at like week 3 before Travis really blew up.
Yeah, before the Baylor game.
Yes. And I got Travis at plus 1,500. Again, that means you bet 100, you win $1,500. That got all the way down to
minus 2,500.
I think it got all the way down to minus 10,000 at one point, meaning you have to bet 10,000 just to win 100.
After the final regular season games, yes.
But here's what I'll say about that. And the books have been wrong before. Yeah. So they're not undefeated. They're rarely this wrong. And what I mean by that is that means you could put $100 on Ashton Jeanty right now and win 1,000 if he wins. It's essentially like a 30-point underdog winning a football game.
Yeah, outright.
Yeah.
No, this would be like the biggest Heisman upset ever if Ashton Jeanty ended up winning. And
so to me, when you see betting markets like that, it means Vegas feels pretty exposed on Travis Hunter. They're hoping to bring in more money on Jeanty to offset their losses.
Exactly.
They're begging that accountant in Coeur d'Alene to put $100. They're saying, you could put $100 on this right now, you'll win $1,000. Yeah. Not just like a handshake bet in the bar for $20.
Yep.
Like, you can get 10x your money. No guy at the bar is giving you 10x your money.
Right.
They're saying, please, John from Coeur d'Alene, please bet $100 on this. We'll give you 1,000 if you're right.
Yep.
That means something. Again, they've been wrong before. This late in the process, though, I do not think they would leave themselves that exposed on Jeanty if they thought there was any real chance.
No, this looks like odds after like the non-conference slate, where one player just dominates the non-conference slate, and they're like, oh, all right, well, this guy's plus 1,000. He's like in the conversation. He's got 9 weeks left to move it.
Yeah, some people got in at Travis at plus 6,000.
One of the biggest regrets of my life is going to be this summer at Circus Sportsbook. We're leaving, and I remember I told you guys, hold on, I'm going to go make one more bet. And I bet on Shedeur Sanders to win the Heisman Trophy, and I did not bet on Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in that moment, I think most people believe that Shedeur as a quarterback had a better chance to win a quarterback award.
Yes.
Generally.
Yes.
But this year was very different in college football. It's even different in the NFL. You got like Saquon and Derrick Henry are leading the MVP race.
Yeah.
I guess Josh Allen's getting some love too. 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns yesterday. You see that? That's never been done before.
He single-handedly carried me to my fantasy football playoffs with like 51 points. Animals.
Anyways.
Let's take our first break. Shout out to the homies over at HelloFresh. HelloFresh hooked us up with some boxes of meal kits a while ago, and my gosh.
So good.
What was it? The maple... Spicy maple chicken?
Spicy maple chicken.
Yeah. Oof. That stuff was great. But HelloFresh is the best. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. They got all kinds of options, whether you're on a diet, whether you got to watch what you eat. They can send you a customizable, multiple meal kits, I should say, straight to your door. And they're super easy. Skip the grocery store, and you can get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/freebuff. Free buffs, FREEBUFFS. It's applied across 7 boxes, new subscribers only, and it varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/freebuffs. It's America's #1 meal kit, and they are legitimately delicious. Shout out HelloFresh.
And let me just add, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but maybe you are stuck in the delivery cycle, which I have been known to get stuck in once in a while.
Yep.
And then you make one of these HelloFresh kits, and it is so much more satisfying. Like the food just feels fresher and tastes better, and you don't have that like weird feeling afterwards where you're like, what did I just eat?
That regret.
Yes. Yes. Like you feel kind of like accomplished. You did have to cook, but it was also like so nicely prepared and laid out for you. So you got that. You kind of like did something by cooking the meal. And then the meal itself just like feels like real food. Anyways, shout out to Empire today. We talk a lot about people
the
spilling
messy
stuff.
Marvins?
Yeah, the messy Marvins, exactly. How could I forget? I was a messy Marvin
Alyssa.
today, bro.
I know, I was like, what was it?
Have you, put the mic on. Have you ever in your life heard the phrase messy Marvin before?
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
I think first Colorado native to have said yes.
She just knows ball. I don't know what to tell you.
It's possible. Anyways, we talk about the messy Marvin. I was a messy Marvin today, bro. I spilled
an entire...
I spilled. What is going on? I barely spilled on your backpack, by the way. That was cat-like reflexes. The reason why I was able to save your backpack is because the top of that coffee was closed. I spilled a cup like that in my kitchen this morning full of pre-workout.
Oh, that's an expensive spill, bro.
Such an L, bro. Such a massive L. But thankfully, I also have Empire floors. Didn't even notice. Easy cleanup. And whether it's a spill or a scratch or you're dragging furniture across it, these Empire floors are so resistant, so resilient to the messy Marvins that work here at DNVR or me at my own home. So if you're looking for a new floor, hit up our friends over at Empire today. Schedule a free in-home estimate. All listeners can receive $350 off when they use the promo code DNVR. So go to empiretoday.com/DNVR for details. Get yourself a new floor.
All right. Let's talk about the transfer portal.
First of all, can I just say, we have like 30 days to talk about the transfer portal, guys. We will talk about the transfer portal ad nauseum.
Yes.
And we also still have 2 segments in this show to talk about it.
Yes, we do.
So don't worry. We're going to cover the portal.
We're doing it right now. The big one. Yesterday, Alabama wide receiver / tight end Caleb Odom entered the transfer portal. He's listed at 6'5", 227, Played in 12 games, had 7 receptions for 65 yards this last year. But the reason why this is so big, 1, he's a former 5-star.
Yep.
2, he played high school at Carrollton High School.
He didn't just play high school at Carrollton High School. He overlapped 2 seasons with one Juju Lewis.
Yep.
And in those 2 seasons, caught 25 touchdown passes from one Juju Lewis.
And so a lot of people saw those connections. Our guy Matt H put out a tweet not too long ago just talking about what you just said. He caught a lot of touchdowns from Caleb Odom caught a lot of touchdowns from Julian Lewis. On that tweet today, Julian Lewis replies to it and goes, "Family business."
My goodness. This dude has so much like raw ability.
Mm-hmm.
His like speed and kind of sharpness in his routes really sticks out for a guy of his size.
Yes.
He looks who's the wide receiver I was thinking of when I was watching him. It'll come to me in a second, but T. Higgins.
I could see that for sure.
Like just super fluid, clean routes, goes up and gets the ball, has some of like the wiggle that you see from these like the new breed of athlete that we have that never existed before.
Yeah.
Like Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Not nearly on that level of wiggle because he's 6'5", but you see some of like the moves and stuff that he has. It's like, this is a really, really fluid athlete at the size. And that's exactly why he was a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
Some debate on whether he is a tight end or a wide receiver. A lot more money by being called a wide receiver might have something to do with it.
Right.
But he did mostly, when he played for Alabama this year, he mostly was lined up outside.
Yep. But again, only like 7 receptions, so he's just getting started. He'll have at least 3 years of eligibility. Arizona linebacker Jacob Manu entered the portal. He's been one of their best defensive players the last 2 seasons. In 2023, he had 116 total tackles and 10 TFLs with 6.5 sacks and a pick and 2 passes defensed. This last year, we all know Arizona just not a good football team. A lot's gone wrong. And he got injured, I believe, in the Colorado game.
I think you're right.
So he finished this year with 47 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 passes defense, and 1 fumble recovery. He's going to be one of the best linebackers in the portal.
I will say this about Jacob Manu. I heard, not about him directly, but I did hear that there was some buzz after the Colorado-Arizona game of some players from Arizona wanting to go to Colorado.
Yep. 2 Alabama defensive linemen to keep track of here. We've mentioned his name quite a bit already. Jaheim Otis, one of the top players in the portal. Watch out for Colorado there. There's a report that he was linked to them, LSU and Ole Miss. And then also Hunter Osborne has entered the portal, a young player. I'm trying to find his stuff. But point is, we had success with Anquin Barnes coming in last year after not playing a lot at Alabama. And now you've got 2 guys. Hunter Osborne was a 2023 4-star player. Top 200 player in the country, listed at 6'4", 260. Next, we've got Miami running back A.J. Allen, who is entering the portal. He ran the ball quite a bit for them this last year. He's listed at 5'11", 186. Actually, it was last year. So last year he had 70 carries. This year only 24 carries. But that's a name to look out for. Virginia Tech starting safety Mose Phillips III has entered the portal. He's been at Virginia Tech for a while. He was a highly ranked recruit in the 2023 class. Actually, not that high, only a 3-star, but has really elevated himself with his play at Virginia Tech the last few years. Another safety is Arkansas safety TJ Metcalf, who was their starting safety. He's entered the portal. Then Oklahoma State safety / linebacker Kendall Daniels has entered the portal as well.
All right.
This thing is going crazy, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
over
insane.
500 players have already entered.
Yeah.
And that was like 2 hours ago. So.
Yeah.
Probably over 600 now.
Well, and just after yesterday on Sunday, when the playoff bracket came out, we're only starting to see like the players from Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, like teams like that who were just outside the top 12. Those entries are going to start rolling in here very, very shortly.
Mm-hmm.
The big news a couple days ago, Liberty quarterback Caden Salter schedules a visit to Colorado. We don't know when, but they're clearly going after a quarterback.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, this is just a very interesting and difficult, I think, job for the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I'm sure multiple teams throughout the country are dealing with. And I saw kind of some people saying, no, you can't do this, you're going to upset Juju. And I saw other people saying, you have to have more than one player at a position. And I think that there's a lot of nuance in between those two things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said, an incredibly difficult job of a coaching staff to build depth at that position where everyone knows there's only one.
Yep.
There's only one that can be on the field at a time. It's not like wide receiver, running back. Heck, even Colorado can tell a guard that they can rotate in.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something they did last year. But in the most ideal world, I think everyone would agree you would have two or more really good players competing to be the starter at that position. And if the coaching staff can pull that off, whether that's Salter or someone else in terms of a veteran quarterback coming out of the portal, then they deserve all the credit in the world.
Yep.
And then you battle it out and the best man wins.
The quarterback room needs work. It just needs to get more talented. And that's with or without Julian Lewis. So I'd expect to see them target this position pretty heavily.
Well, and I mean, a perfect example would be Georgia.
Yes.
Who won the SEC championship on the back of their backup quarterback.
Well, in last year, we were talking about Carson Beck in the same conversation as Shedeur Sanders, and they went in and still brought in Jaden
First of all,
Rashada.
when you say we,
not
yes,
not us,
Yes,
but
yes.
the general we
Yes.
was saying that. They went and brought in Jaden Rashada after he entered the portal.
Yep,
This is what good football programs do.
yes,
Texas brought in Quinn Ewers, and they still get the number one recruit in the nation in Arch Manning, and he still sits on the bench all year last year.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it's a huge luxury, and it's not easy to pull off, but if you can pull it off, it's for the best.
Yes. Former Tulsa wide receiver Joseph Williams is scheduled to visit to Colorado. He was the AAC Freshman of the Year this last year. 30 receptions, 588 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's listed at 6'2", 195. Again, don't know when he will be visiting, but it was reported that he will visit.
52, Ivan with a good question. Do you know whatever happened to that tight end, Spatanatang?
He's still in the portal.
Okay.
He's stuck in there.
Probably making a rug pull meme coin.
Probably. Luke Haas, former Arkansas tight end, is another player to keep an eye out for. And then today, Colorado offered former Fresno State defensive lineman Gabriel Lightfoot. Last year in 2024, he had 37 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 pass defense. I'm trying to find his specs. I think he's like 6'3", about 200 pounds.
I hope he lives up to his name, then. 6'3", 200 pounds with light feet. Sounds great to me.
Yes.
Dancing bear.
6'3", 296 is what he's listed at.
Let's go. I believe one of the more productive interior defensive linemen in the conference over the last couple of years.
37 tackles at nose tackle is pretty damn good.
Yes, very, very good.
And then Jordan Onivue announced he will enter the transfer portal today. We wish him the best of luck. And Jeremiah Brown also did the same after redshirting early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like there's a pretty common thread in the guys that have entered, and that's just they didn't get the playing time that they wanted here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame those guys for wanting to go somewhere where they hopefully get on the field a little more. JB, it hurts a little more just because it was kind of like a he was like a part of the personality fabric of the team.
Yeah, of course.
And so, you know, we grew a little closer to him, of course. But these guys are football players, man. They want to play. And so I hope they do, and I hope they ball out.
On JB, I just want to say this because it was like after the UCF game when it came out that he wanted to redshirt and Trevor Woods wanted to redshirt, and there was a lot of, you know, speculation back then if he was going to enter the portal or whatever, and then he ended up quote tweeting someone who said he was entering the portal and denied it. Let JB be, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not their responsibility to announce their intentions to enter the portal mid-season when the portal's not open. Like, he was probably figuring stuff out, and the portal is now open. He wanted to enter. Just let the man, you know, go on, continue his football career, and wish him the best of luck. No need to be like, oh, you lied or all this, blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't need to do that.
Well, and I think a lot of times social media just removes the ability for nuance. That was, what, 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
Yes.
He very well might not have known what he wanted to do then, and was like, whoa, don't put words in my mouth, and now has a better understanding of what he wants to do with his future. I think the way you said it was perfect. Leave him be.
Yep. That's all I got for the portal.
And wish him
right
the
now.
best. That's all we need to do with these guys.
Absolutely.
And when I say, like, I want these guys to ball out, I mean that so genuinely. Like, when I see a player like Jordan Tyson, who goes and balls out for ASU, I don't have like sour grapes over that.
Right.
I'm just like, hell yeah, dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
Go get him. Nico Reed had a big pick for Oregon in that game. It's like, hey, he was a Buff. Like, hell yeah, dude, go get it. Like,
definitely.
Ball out.
Well, and then what you said about kind of JB just being like a fabric of the team, just his personality. He was obviously very well loved by damn near all of his teammates. I mean, shoot, you guys saw the interviews, but I mean, anytime we talked to anyone and JB was brought up, it was always how much they loved him and how, you know, good of a teammate he was, you know. No one ever had anything bad to say about JB, so just let these people go in peace. Just let them go. It's okay. That's all the portal news I got for today.
I saw one more. I'm just looking to see if there's more than one source on this, but I haven't seen it, so we'll wait to see if that's official. This one? Did you see this?
Yeah, same thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll wait. No reason to rush.
I did see Adonis Forrest also into the portal, a walk-on safety.
Okay.
So best of luck to him. I mean, this is just getting started, I think. I'm not saying we're going to have 60 entries again, but...
No. Like I said, I think there's been a pretty consistent theme in the guys from Colorado who entered the portal. I would not be surprised. This is going to be a oxymoron. I would not be surprised if there was a surprise entry at some point that we weren't expecting. That's just the way college football works.
Yep.
But so far, no surprises.
Yep. All right, let's take our next break. We still have a lot to get to. Shout out to the homies over at Bet365, the best place to bet on football, college football, or the NFL. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. I love Bet365 because of those early money line payouts. If you take a team on the money line and they get up by 17 points, it instantly cashes no matter what. Even if the other team comes back and wins the game, you are still safe with that early money line payout. Just sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, then place a bet of $5 or more. Once that bet clears, you'll get $150 in bonus bets into your account. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Also, shout out to Live Well. You living well, Jake?
Living more than well.
Well, our friends over at Live Well believe in everybody living well. And so you can live well for a little cheaper right now when you go to a Live Well store and use the code DNVR25. Again, go in store at a Live Well dispensary and get 25% off when you use the code DNVR25 on one regular price items. Of course, restrictions apply. Go get you like a pre-roll or, you know, whatever floats your boat. Over at Live Well, get it for 25%.
Some gummies?
Off.
I know Reef likes the gummies.
There you go.
Shout out Live Well. I glossed over this, but on yesterday when all the CFP stuff was coming out, it was confirmed Colorado will play BYU in the Alamo Bowl on December 28th.
Yeah. Look, everyone knows me. I'm always a glass half full person, but I'm pretty surprised by like the crash out that happened over this. I feel like it's rare to get the exact bowl matchup that you want. And so like I've always remembered just like, all right, let's see what happens. Let's see who we get, where we get them, and then let's go do it. I think that of course it would have been really cool for Colorado to play Miami in whatever bowl that they could have matched up, and I think Holiday was an option, but it didn't work out that way. And so it's Colorado versus BYU in the Alamo Bowl. How do we not immediately look at that and be like, cool, this is a tiebreaker?
The whole season, people were saying, man, if we just had the chance to play BYU and really show them what we're about, we're getting that chance. How are you not pumped?
Yeah, to me, this is awesome. Like, I can think of dozens of games I would rather have less than this. This one at least has like some meaning.
Yeah.
Like, you get to find out, you got ISU and ASU, they played a semifinal.
Yep.
ASU kicked their ass. Colorado and BYU, that's a semifinal. And at the very least, if you win this one, you can say like, we deserved a chance at ASU or whatever.
Yes,
we could have had our shot. To me, I think that's fun. I definitely watching this. We've all watched this BYU team a lot this year, so we kind of know them.
Yeah.
It's not a completely unknown team. It's a little weird to be playing someone in your conference, but again, to me, it's like there's so many positive things and exciting things about this game to look at. I also would note that the Riverwalk is a cool place. Like
the underground city.
The underground city's kind of sick. Be a Ninja Turtle for a week. The Alamo Dome, I think, is really cool.
It's the highest bowl payout besides the CFP.
You're going to love it, dude. The press box is in the stadium. You're like, the only thing separating you from me will just be like a little pane of glass. Like,
Let's
it's not
go.
even, it doesn't even cover it. You're just like kind of in there, which I think is cool. Obviously, that's a very niche thing, but I like the like kind of shape of the stadium. It feels intimate. I don't know, man. I think that there's plenty of positive things about this.
I 100% agree. Didn't have a single negative thought about it, to be honest. So
Yeah, I didn't either. Obviously, like, again, would I like to go to San Diego? Of course. Flights are cheap. I can find another time to go to San Diego.
right. The Big 12 title game. Arizona State is your Big 12 champion after, putting the smackdown on ISU. I mean, that game wasn't even close, bro. Cam Skattebo legacy game. Sam Levitt looks the part. No Jordan Tyson, no problem. They got weapons. Just any takeaways from that?
Just pain. If I'm being completely honest and upfront, watching the game and watching ISU just lay an absolute fucking egg was so depressing to me.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, this would have been such a cooler game if we were in it.
I know.
I guarantee you the nation turned it off after halftime. It was, other than Cam Skattebo, who is amazing, the game was oraless.
Yeah.
And so I was just sitting there being like, because of some tiebreakers and because we fumbled the bag against Kansas State, we just missed out on something that would have been epic. But it is what it is. And how about ASU? To me, like, you kind of push back on this, but it's like, to me, this is like a true like Cinderella run. It's kind of just like they were kind of an afterthought, and then they just got hot at the right time and got the breaks that they needed to get, and now they're kind of a scary team entering the college football playoffs that doesn't really have a lot of like glaring weaknesses.
Yep. The CFP bracket, the first ever CFP bracket has been unveiled.
You have any takes on the Big 12 championship?
Just Cam Skattebo's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. Put him in orange and blue.
I was pretty surprised that Iowa State was not able to take advantage at all of Jordan Tyson being out of the game.
I guess that's the other thing. Those wide receivers are making plays for them.
Yeah. That catch in the end zone over the dude's back was very impressive.
I mean, it's just Kenny Dillingham's a hell of a coach. And I think you could just tell by the way his team plays for him and how these guys, similar-ish to what Coach Prime did at Colorado, just come in from the portal and instant contributors. Like, shout out to that recruiting and scouting staff for making that happen.
Also, just one thing I want to say that I don't think people are necessarily respecting about this, and maybe we talk a little bit more about this later in the week, and I can come with some more figures and facts. The Alamo Bowl is like a prestigious bowl.
Yes, it is.
As far as non-college football playoff, non-BCS, non-New Year's Six bowls, however you want to describe those, the Alamo Bowl is right there in the next tier.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Alamo, Gator, used to be Cotton. Cotton's in there this year, but like I'm trying to get a couple here. Like you've got like
Holiday Bowl's got to be up there too. I mean, we've mentioned that, but it's
Outback Bowl.
Outback Bowl's there. Yeah,
Like this is like the upper tier of non-playoff bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people aren't recognizing that.
No, it absolutely is. Any takeaways on the bracket though? SMU got
Yes.
in. Go ahead.
Big takeaways. One, the bracket doesn't really make sense.
This is what happens when you don't when you just go into the season going, oh, it'll all work itself out. We'll just pick the 12 best teams. No,
There's no reward for getting the number 1 overall seed.
not at all.
And it's Oregon, so fuck them. But that was my first thing. When I saw the bracket, I'm like, they got the number 1 seed and their reward is a bye, just like Boise State. And then they get the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee.
The top side of the bracket is way stronger than the bottom side of the bracket.
That part blew my mind. I was like, we have to figure this out. And I don't think people totally understood what I was saying on Twitter. It's hard to describe on social media. But like I was saying, we're going to have to in the future reseed after the first round. That doesn't mean like have a new committee meeting and put out a new rankings.
No.
It just means the lowest rated team that survives plays the 1 seed. This literally happens in the NFL playoffs.
Yes.
It's the way the NFL does it. As the number 1 seed, you deserve to get rewarded with essentially your pick. I would love it if you actually got to pick because it would just be instant bulletin board material for whoever you pick. But you just get the lowest remaining team that moves on. And I realized that if there were no upsets, then Oregon would be getting that. With I guess the 8 seed would be the lowest seed to advance, but they didn't really get any benefit over the other teams with a bye.
Yeah.
2, we probably need to say that the byes just go to the top 4 ranked teams. As much as that might hurt us in the future, just if I'm talking completely objectively, the byes going to conference champions doesn't. It creates this imbalance.
You can give them an auto bid,
Yes.
but just not give them a buy.
Auto bid, not auto buy.
Yes.
The same way the NCAA basketball tournament is.
Right.
You win your conference, you're in, but the committee gets to determine what seed
Exactly. Yes.
you are. Because if that were the case, we wouldn't have this weirdly imbalanced bracket. And I don't know any other way to say this than Boise State getting the 3 seed in a bye is an absolute joke.
It is. 100% it is.
It's an absolute joke. And we can hand wring over Alabama, didn't do this and didn't do that, and that's all true. But we can't have a world where the easiest path to the playoff is just being in the Mountain West.
Right. Right.
That doesn't make sense. And the whole thing, like all of the like Alabama bullshit about like, we're never scheduling a hard out of conference game again. Like that was one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard, considering they were undefeated in out of conference games.
That was one of the most tone deaf arguments I've ever. They just completely unaware of like what your own schedule was and how your own season unfolded.
Yes, but in the same way that it has to matter in the Heisman argument, it also has to matter in the building the college football playoff bracket, who you played on a week in, week out basis.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make any conversation that beating Utah State or even UNLV is as valuable as beating Georgia.
Yeah. Or in Clemson's case, like a crazy game of swings of momentum where you're up and then you're down, they come back, and then you have 10 seconds and you win the game.
I don't know. I think either you have to go Power 4, top 4 gets it, or just do top 4 gets the buys. All the top 5 conference winners get an auto bid and let the committee do their job. And my final takeaway on this is just the committee was not ready for this.
Not at all.
I don't know if they were rushed into building the format. So obviously we had a whole year to like figure out how to rank these teams, but I think they might have been a little bit rushed into the formatting part of this. Didn't spend enough time thinking through all the scenarios, and you just end up with weird things where, like, I'm sorry, if I'm Penn State, who lost the Big Ten championship to Oregon, I think I came out of Sunday feeling better than Oregon.
Probably.
Because Penn State's path to the Final Four is SMU and Boise.
Yep.
Now, Oregon has one fewer game, but one of those games is going to be against Tennessee or Ohio State, which is, to me, exponentially harder than either of the games that Penn State would have to play. Now, Penn State's Penn State. They very well could choke against SMU.
Sure.
But I still think that when you saw that bracket, Oregon came away being like, all right. And Penn State came away being like, yo, we've got a pretty easy path to the Final Four.
For real. Just shout out to the committee for actually putting SMU in. They did the right thing at the end of the day. And thank God they didn't put Alabama in just because they're Alabama, because the discourse today would have been just beyond toxic. It would have been terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of the same. If you have to pick one team, who are you picking?
I don't know. Texas.
I think I'd still pick Oregon.
I'm not picking a team that's never won a national championship.
I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I think that they're the best team right now.
They looked very well rounded in that game. But I got to admit, I came away from that game really impressed with Penn State.
Yeah. I actually gained some respect for Drew Lar.
Yeah, for sure. That throw with his undershirt being tugged and he sidearms it to the end zone was sick.
Yeah. You want to talk about Juju's game on Friday?
Yes. I just got to say, first of all, it was very clear, in my opinion, that the coaching staff was aware of his hand injury and was trying to protect him. And still, he just made some ridiculous throws. The back shoulder throw where he dropped it in the bucket over the middle on like the over route was just like, oh man. Like, we're going to have a lot of fun watching this kid for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yep.
Super stoked for him because he makes it to the state championship as a freshman, throws for 531 yards and 5 touchdowns, and loses. And then last year, it's like, okay, I got to go avenge that. Well, they didn't make it. They lost in the semis last year. Now, Juju gets another chance. He's going to go back to what is it called now? Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I was going to call it the Georgia Dome.
Yeah.
He gets to go back there and kind of in his last year of high school, which he's only going to 3, get a chance to finish it off with a state championship.
This weekend, right? Next weekend?
Next weekend, which is good for him because he was clearly dealing with something.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it was. Thankfully, he was good enough to play, but, you'll take the extra rest.
Definitely. All right, let's take the final break, and then we'll get to questions.
So someone said Georgia will win it all. Go ahead.
Shout out to Breck Brew. The homies, they've been with us since the beginning, and they're with us damn near everywhere we go. Come out to one of our Broncos tailgates. We're going to have a tailgate in San Antonio, right?
I think so.
Okay. We'll probably have Breck Brews out there. Or you just come to the DNVR bar, hang out with us. We got them on tap. We got them in cans. You can check out their new West Coast style IPA. It's called the Ridge Runner. It's a double dry hop brew inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails and creates notes of bright citrus and pine. Check out their beer locator at breckbrew.com to find all of their great beers at a location near you.
Also,
shout out to us.
Like he said, we will likely have a tailgate out there in San Antonio. I only say likely just because I haven't heard any details on it yet, but I know it's in the plans. But wherever we go, whatever we do, we've always got some cool events going on. So go to thednvr.com/events to check out the calendar. see what's going on, you can come down here to the DNVR bar, check out what we have going on here. Lots of fun stuff. Always a good place to watch a Denver sports event, whether that's a Nuggets game, Avs game. Broncos games are fun again. So go to the events calendar, check out what we got going on, and come hang out. I just wanted to say, someone said Georgia. I don't think I can trust a backup quarterback to lead them all the way to the national championship.
I don't even trust Carson Beck.
I don't either. But I would feel more confident in him just kind of like navigating their way through games.
Yeah.
Gunnar Stockton, I think his name is. Was a very highly rated recruit. I think he actually has maybe not. Never mind. I thought
they keep recruiting the same quarterback.
They do. But anyways, he set high school records and all this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. I just think it's really hard to come in and just be like, okay, you have to lead us to a national championship now through the college football playoffs.
Yeah. At halftime against Texas. Hey, man.
Yeah.
It's your time now.
That at least you come in and it's like they don't know what they're dealing with really. They didn't prepare for you. Like you kind of have that immediate boost, and he made some big plays with his feet.
Yeah.
Also met God, I think, during the game, so that's cool.
Bro, that was the hardest hit I think I've ever seen.
I literally said I was watching with Allie, Kylie, and Spencer, and I was just like, that was one of the most brutal hits on a quarterback I can remember.
Yeah, that's up there with like the Tom Brady one when he like slid and just got his head taken off in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, the sliding ones are always really rough too.
Yeah.
Like the Trevor Lawrence one we saw just last week.
Well, those are dirty plays.
Yes.
But,
but anyways.
Well, that was a football play by Makuba on Gunnar Stockton.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and he didn't get ejected.
No, they threw the flag initially,
call.
and then they reviewed it and took it off. They made the right call.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what's exciting to me about this bracket. I mean, Oregon is the best. I think Oregon's going to choke. They just have a history of doing that. But I do think they have the most well-rounded football team.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you take them out of the mix, it's like, what a crapshoot. I just hope the game is, because I think it was J.D. Pickell who after the SEC championship tweeted out, like, feel like I just watched the national championship.
Yes.
And it was the national championship last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Well, no, last year it was Michigan-Washington. But the SEC title game always feels like it.
Yeah. Did they play? So it was Michigan. It was Georgia, Texas. Did they play?
No, Texas was in the Big 12 last year. It was.
Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Alabama and was it Alabama, Georgia?
I don't remember.
Alabama got into Alabama was in, Georgia was out.
Anyways, I just hope the national championship is a more exciting game than that, because despite the fact that it went to overtime, which was exciting, the game itself moved really slow.
It was a bad game in the first half.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, they are announcing the Heisman finalists tonight. Stay tuned.
Your prediction?
There will be 4 players listed as Heisman finalists.
Is there a moving?
It changes almost every year.
So will you just have to get a certain amount of votes and you become a finalist?
I don't know how it works. Okay. I really don't. Last year they had Penix, Jaden,
Milroe,
and maybe I'll look it up. But I think it's Travis, Shedeur, Skattebo, and Genty.
That would be so sick if you're right.
They want to get Shedeur out there.
Oh man,
Shedeur will be there no matter what. But they want that to happen. I guarantee that.
I hope you're right. I don't think they will because of just anti-Colorado. They can only handle one.
They had 4 last year. It was Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., Bo Nix, and Michael Penix Jr.
Bo Nix. Okay.
QB1.
I didn't know that it could be moving. I actually only thought there was going to be 3. I thought that was just like how it worked. So that's exciting that there could be 4.
I'm trying to find the history of this. But yeah, it does kind of change year to year. I remember not too long ago, there was one that was only, what am I looking at?
And by the way, let me just say, I'm the biggest proponent of Shedeur Sanders being a Heisman finalist. I think it's kind of, it just goes to like how narratives get built that Shedor's not in there. Like basically people just like only could handle one Colorado player getting that level of hype.
Yeah.
And it went to Travis because of just the unicorn that he is. But I think that in any other world where Travis is on another team, Shedeur would be a lock to be a Heisman finalist.
100%. In 2022, it was 4 quarterbacks: Caleb, CJ, Max Duggan, and Stetson Bennett.
Max Duggan, what a dog.
Yeah, like in 2021, Bryce Young won it. Aiden Hutchinson was second. Kenny Pickett was third. CJ Stroud was fourth. Like
So was it always 4?
I don't know. I could have sworn recently there was a year they only had 2.
I thought it was always 3. So we're all learning on the fly here. All right, I'll make my prediction. Travis, Genty, Cam Ward. Trying to think if anyone else got significant buzz. There's the tight end from Penn State, Tyler Warren, that everyone really loves, but I don't think he quite had the... I'll just say Shedeur too, just because I want to speak it into existence.
Wayne says, shout out RK, Reef, Cam Duncan, Dave R, DJ Flame to you, and DNVR chat family taking over the Carrollton Buford chat sporting Juju and Mantrez. I love going into streams like that because it's just like, who do I know in here?
Oh, bro.
And there's always a handful.
I literally opened it up because I was watching it like horizontal, then I turned it vertical, and I just saw all of the people from our chat. Yeah. And I was like, what's up, Scope Buffs?
It's awesome.
It was great. I just think it's amazing. That was an unbelievable broadcast. Like
they have the production value out there.
I know I think I said this on Friday, but like I remember when I was in high school, like our basketball team was playing in like a tournament and I couldn't be there. And there was like a stream and I tried to pull up this stream and it was like on Facebook. And it was literally just like a stationary, bless you, a stationary camcorder.
Yeah.
That never moved. That was going straight to and there was no announcers. There was no anything.
Yeah.
They were just a streaming video.
Yeah.
This thing had announcers, replays. I was blown away, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Georgia high school football. And it was just like readily available on YouTube. Didn't have to go searching high and low for some weird site full of pop-ups. Like, that was impressive.
It's different out there, man. I'm Heaven's Demon. My guy says, with who is available in the portal, who's on your wish list to sign with CU?
Zachariah Branch. Not in the portal.
Caleb Odom tops the list for sure. I like those Alabama defensive linemen. Jacob Manu would be awesome to get.
Yeah.
KC, Kevin Concepcion would be nice to have.
Yes. I still haven't found my guy at running back. Oh, I do.
Who?
The West Virginia kid. Is it Jaheim White?
I think so.
I always mess up his first name. I want the West Virginia kid. He's a dog.
We'll do a show later in the week with our most desirable portal targets, I guess.
Okay. Do you think that, just going back to the Heisman finalist thing, do you think that Colorado having 2 finalists would hurt in the sense that they would share the vote?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think so.
And then, do you know, I'm just throwing out questions that I just don't think you know the answer to, but
sure,
do you know, like, do Heisman voters rank their top 3 on their ballot, top 10? How does this work?
So, yeah, I think that's because it's like first place votes.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of power rank them, and that's how they determine, eventually who has the most first place votes gets the Heisman, and that's how it kind of falls.
Okay. Do you know how many they put on their ballot?
10, I believe.
10? Okay, then I think Shedeur has a real chance of being a finalist.
I mean, I'm going through all the Heisman voting. I'm in 2016 now, and it's got 10. And it says first place, second place, third place, and total votes. So I guess it's actually total, but it's almost always the player who gets the most first place votes wins the Heisman Trophy.
Right, because it's like weighted points.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We haven't had a close Heisman in a minute.
Apparently, the finals announcement is happening as we speak.
Is it? Is there a tweet? We got to go, but...
Also, Rick George is at the Lot Impact Award ceremony right now. One of the many, many awards that Travis Hunter is the finalist for. And just in case you want to know what those awards are, let me just pull them up for you here. Travis Hunter, a finalist for the Walter Camp Award, the Maxwell Award. Those are both, Walter Camp is best. Don't worry about it. Walter Camp, Maxwell, Bednarik, Lot Impact, Horning, and Biletnikoff Awards. Definitely got to be the first player to ever be a finalist for all of those awards.
The Walter Camp Award is given annually to the Collegiate American Football Player of the Year.
So that's Player of the Year. Maxwell is Player of the Year as well. Bednarik is Defensive Player of the Year. Horning is
most versatile.
Biletnikoff is Best Wide Receiver. The best ones to combine is Best Wide Receiver and Best Defensive Player. A finalist for those. Same year.
Yep.
First team offense, first team defense in the Big 12.
And AP All-American, I believe.
Beautiful thing.
If not, he'll get that. I mean, I'm sure he was already mid-season All-American on both sides of the ball. All right, we got to go. We'll be back tomorrow. Scotty will be back tomorrow. Yes, you'll get bowl game content, and you're going to get content from the Big Apple this weekend.
Love it. Yes, we will be. I don't know if we told you guys this, but we will be in New York.
Yep.
For the Heisman Trophy ceremony. So we're super excited for that. Hopefully bringing you some behind the scenes, some really cool stuff. Of course, RG will be with us. And yes, if you're looking for a place to watch this, it's during Monday Night Countdown on ESPN. So let's go find out who the finalists are.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.